This is the memory of Jared Orchen, and today we're going to learn the Haftora of PARSHAT CHUKAT, page 1456. This Haftora is from the book of Judges. The Parsha of CHUKAT will be in 2 weeks, so that's what we didn't learn that last year, we learned this year. In Shul we're going to read it in 2 weeks, but we learned the Haftora today. Book of Judges. What's unique? Why it's called Judges? What happened in the book of Judges? It's right after Joshua. There's the 5 books of Moses, there's the book of Joshua, Joshua died, then there's the book of Judges. What's unique about the book of Judges?
All tribal leaders, no kings.
No kings. And it goes like this. The Jews go astray, they worship idols, things get bad. They cry to God, they do tshuva, they repent, God sends a leader to redeem them from the enemy. Things are good for 4 years. ותשקוט הארץ 40 שנה, the land was quiet for 4 years, and then they just get bad to the bad news, things getting bad again, consequences, getting bad again, they cry out again to God. Constantly, a pattern that goes again and again and again. Chapter 11 in the book of Judges is really in the middle of the book, and it's really changing a little bit the pattern of the things that used to go. But before that, what is a judge? There is prophets. Later we read about the prophets. This is called the book of Judges. What was the job of the judges? What they did?
It's like like a warrior, leader, but a warrior.
A warrior or a leader? That's a question. A judge, in our understanding, is a leader. Somebody who is judging people, teaching them, keeping order, right? What is it? What? For example, who are the judges that you know beside Iftar? Gideon. Who else?
Deborah.
Who else? Samson. Tell me, Samson was a judge in the sense of a leader? He was talking to people, teaching them Torah, working out deals.
Well, he was a warrior.
He was a warrior. Until this point, most of the judges were more warriors. They were not leaders. And here is the first time also that the Jewish people looked. God did not send the leader. Gideon, an angel of God revealed himself, right? And he became a leader. And he came and he helped the Jews. Samson, he got to start powers. It was from God. The angel came to his mother and to his parents and so on. Here is the Jewish people were looking for somebody to help them. And really, Iftar, as it's called in Hebrew, not Jephthah in English, was not really a leader. They wanted him as a warrior. As we're going to see, Iftar was not the leader that you would elect exactly. But out of necessity, we see in the Bible that when God chooses to bring the salvation to the Jewish people, not necessarily with guys that we like, who are politically correct, with ties and suits. I wouldn't take the redemption from such a guy. Sometimes we don't choose exactly with. God decides how He's going to help the people. Here's an example where our salvation came to people that you wouldn't necessarily live with them. A story in the prophet. A little after that.
Samuel was right.
Samuel was the best. Actually, mentioning Samuel, the Talmud, when he wants to point out that you have to accept the leader no matter who he is, says, Iftach in his generation, like Samuel in his generation. You understand? The extreme. Samuel is considered the best. Iftach is considered. Then, that's how it goes. But there is once it was the Jewish people had a famine. Who came to tell them that there is food somewhere else? No. It was a famine, and they told them by the enemy there is food. They all run away. We learned it's Haftora. 4 leopards, remember? The leopards came, they were out of town, they were out of the camp, they came and they told that sometimes people who have leprosy come and tell you the news. You don't choose who is going to give you the good news. Iftar is a perfect example for it. And it teaches you that not anybody who is a warrior can be a leader. Not because you're a good general means you're a good politician. In Israel, many of the generals are politicians, become little politicians. You know when it's good? It's good in Israel is to go to war. But a general knows exactly what he's talking about. When he makes a decision, his fingers were in. He was in the foxhole. He knows what it is. That he can sense if the army can do this or not. When the army comes and tells, yeah, we are ready, they will, for example, when Yom Kippur War, who was the prime minister?
Golda Meir.
That was such a disaster. She didn't know what an army is. She didn't know what a war really means. She didn't understand that even she had Moshe Dayan to write, he knew he was not the guy who will take the blame. The guy who makes the decision is the prime minister. He has to understand on his own skin what means a war, and to understand what means they're ready, what does mean they say they're ready. And therefore there was another prime minister later, the second Lebanon war. He went to war and later it was a disaster. And he says the leaders of the army told me they're ready. Why? Because he wasn't an army guy, he wasn't a general, that he didn't really understand. You have to understand the cues. The words are not spoken. To look at the faces, when they say you're ready, they say, yeah. You look at them and say, are you really ready, or you say you're ready? But in normal days, not necessarily a general is the right leader. Because an army is one thing, and in a free country is a whole different story. It's like not every businessman can be a president. Because it's not, you don't understand, a big business sits down and he says, do this, and the whole world collapses to do exactly what he wants. Then Iftar was a general, was a warrior. Wasn't exactly, but he was, as we're going to read, he insisted to be a leader. He didn't want to be a warrior. No, I'm not. I'm here only to save you. No. I want to be the Rebbe too. If not, I'm not doing it. They had no choice. They wanted the Rebbe. Didn't work out. He was a man with a strong sense of believing God, of feeling that God is helping him.
You didn't mention this. What's it? CHUKAT. This is from the PARSHAT.
Yeah.
So there's a relationship to that.
That's a different story. We're not talking about the PARSHAT. We're talking about the Haftora, my friend. In any case, now let's read about what we read about Iftar. The Jewish people were in stress, and they looked for a leader.
Yiftach, the son of Gilad, was a mighty warrior. He was the son of a harlot, but it was nevertheless certain that Gilad had fathered Yiftach.
Iftar was not from a nice family. He didn't have iches. You know what iches? You know what iches is? Genealogy. Oh, my father was this, my grandfather was that.
Pedigree.
Yeah, lineage.
Lineage.
He was a little. And what happened because of this?
Afterwards, Gilead's wife bore him sons. His wife's sons grew up and drove Yiftach out. They said to him, "You will not inherit in our father's house because you are the son of another woman."
Inheritance goes by the father, not by the mother. That really he deserves to inherit from his father. But they were embarrassed with him. They chased him out of the house. A child was thrown out of the house. Who was similar like this?
A child thrown out of his father's house.
Yosef?
Yosef.
Yosef, that's one. Who else?
Ishmael.
That's right.
Two.
That's right.
We have too many of them in the Bible. But I'm looking for somebody else.
Well, Yaakov left on his own.
No, he's who chased them out. Later. There is similarities from these two, a lot.
Later.
King David.
Yeah.
King David was, the Medrash says, they thought he's an illegitimate child.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They thought he's not from the same mother. They know who he is. There was a whole stink about it. They thought that his mother had relations with another man and gave birth to him. he looked different than the rest of this family. That the family, King David says, Muzar ha'iti le'echai v'nochri lebnei imi. I was a stranger to my brothers. Muzar is one expression of stranger, and Nochi is another. Nochi is like a foreigner to the children of my mother. That's what he says. And therefore, when Samuel, talking about Samuel, came to look for a king in the house of Jesse, Fishai, he looked at all the sons, he says, any more children? He said, yeah, we have somebody over there. I said, bring this somebody over there, bring him. He was a red, the Torah describes he was red head. Why did he describe it? Because he looked different than all of them. Then David was also estranged from his family for not doing anything wrong. David was not an illegitimate child. This is real. And you can imagine a person like this is a bitter person. Okay, continue.
Yiftach fled from his brothers, and he settled in the land of Tov.
Where is Tov?
There's a land of Tov. Wow.
We're still looking for it. Tov is good. We're looking for the land of Tov. It's somewhere in Israel, obviously. Go ahead.
Low-class men gathered around Yiftach, and they went around with him.
What kind of men?
Low class.
Low class. Anoshim Reikim, empty people. Who runs around this kind of guy?
Marginal.
People who have no
Individual.
life, people who are
Right.
looking to,
Right.
yeah, no lives.
But they were willing to risk their lives. They had courage.
that courage. And for example, there is a famous movie, The Defiance, right?
Yeah.
Of what's the brother's name?
Belsky, isn't it?
Belsky brothers.
Yeah.
By the partisans who saved 1,000 Jews. In shul they were not sitting in the front row, I can promise you. In a regular day, say, Belsky, I'm not going to their family, to their party. But they push came to shove, they were there. The same thing happened many times in history.
And that was David, too.
That's
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to say. When David was chased by Saul, and he was in the Jordanian desert, right? Who was with him? And Saul was running after him, and he had a whole group of guys who wanted to kill Saul.
Was it Jonathan?
No, the group of people who were with him were like this kind of people. He had this kind of crowd with him. Wasn't Hasidic rabbis? I mean, because they don't know, they cannot run fast. It's a problem. Number 4.
A long time later, the people of Ammon went to war with Israel. What happened was, when the people of Ammon were fighting with Israel, the elders of Gilad went to take Yiftach from the land of Tov back to Gilad. They said to Yiftach, "Come and become our leader, and we'll fight with the people of Ammon."
They didn't look for Yiftach. On a regular day, they didn't even go to check how he's doing. But the Ammonites started a war against Israel, and they need some guy who can do the job. They knew about Yiftach. The elders of Gilad are going to convince him to become their officer, their general. But, go ahead, number 7.
But didn't you despise me, said Yiftach to the elders of Gilad, and help my brothers drive me from my father's house? If you sincerely regretted what you did, why have you only come to me now when you're in trouble and not before?
He says, yeah, you despise me. Who said the same thing, a similar thing in the Bible? Earlier in the Bible, much earlier.
You despised me?
Yeah. You despise me. Actually, the same word, atem snesim oti, as I remember. Let's see. Now I think it was actually the same word. Let's see.
Joseph?
Esau.
Before that.
What was the question? Listening.
Who said who despises me?
Here it is, the same word. Wow. 167. Isaac was in Beer Sheva. Avimelech, number 26, says Avimelech swears an oath with Yitzchak. on page 167. You want to read it?
Abimelech went to him from Gerar with a group of his companions and Pichol, his army general. Yitzhak said to them, "Why have you come to me if you hate me? And you sent me away from you."
That's it. The same word. Here it's a different translation. Here it says, Atem sneisem oti vateshalchuni meitchem, in by Isaac, and you sent me away. Here it was a little more abrupt. It says, you hated me and you chased me away from your house. The same expression. It says, you hate me, were you coming back? Didn't you chase me out? Atem sneisem oisi. The same three words. Here is vateshalchuni, you chased me out. There is a Atem shalachtem oti, you sent me away. Basically, I met somebody yesterday. I reminded them. They told me many years ago. He told me they didn't throw me out from Hebrew school. They asked me to leave. It doesn't make much of a difference how you were thrown out. 1 point lower. Okay, then Then Yiftach tells them, "You throw me out. Well, now you're coming to me when you need me." Make it 68. Number 8.
Not at all. No, did we read that?
No.
Not at all. The elders of Gilad said to Yiftach, "We hold you in great esteem, and therefore we've come in person to you now, and did not send a messenger. Go with us and fight with the people of Ammon, and you will become our leader over all the inhabitants of Gilad."
Okay. It says, "No. How you know that we have held you in great esteem? We came ourselves. When you send messengers, it means you are not so important. We will learn that. That depends on the level of messengers, how important you are."
Angel and
Balak and Balaam.
Balak and Bilam. Bilam said, "Oh, I cannot go." That Balak thought that he didn't send them enough, higher delegation enough. He sent them a higher level of messengers, higher level. And then he told them later, "Oh, I was not good enough, was not honorable enough to come with the lower level of messengers." Then here they told them, "We came ourselves. We don't think you're great. We think you're unbelievable. That's why we came." Okay, number 9.
Yiftach said to the elders of Gilad, "That's not what I call an expression of great esteem. If you bring me back to fight with the people of Ammon and God delivers them before me, I will obviously be entitled to be your head. If you want to show me esteem, appoint me as your leader now."
Aha. He didn't talk about semantics. Who came and who left. You really want me? I'll be your leader. Not just your general. I want to be the leader. The Rebbe, the judge. But you don't belong there, but they had no choice. Beggars cannot be choosers, right? They needed him now. They said, okay. As you
Because
see,
this said you will become our leader. Here it says, he just says no. It says, put me leader now. Right now.
yeah, now, not if I want a deal.
First they asked him to be the captain.
Exactly.
Now he says, "I want to be the captain and the chief."
If you want me to, exactly. Number 10.
God will bear witness between us if we do not do as you say, the elders of Gilad said to Yiftach.
Basically, they promised them that they're going to keep him as a leader. Go ahead.
Yiftach went with the elders of Gilad, and the people appointed him immediately as a leader and ruler over them.
Immediately. They didn't wait until he will be successful.
And Yiftach recited all his words of prayer before the God in Mitzpah.
That Yiftach was a man with a strong connection to God. It wasn't just like a nobody guy. It's not written that he was an empty guy. He had empty people around him. Obviously, he wasn't a great scholar, but he was a man that had a strong connection. Pray to God. You see it throughout the story. He speaks about God, he prays to God, he promises to God. He has a very deep connection. Actually, people who are in this distressed people develop a stronger connection to God. Sometimes you can be a big scholar and not necessarily have this connection, what it takes.
Some people refer to these judges as charismatic.
He was charismatic, but there's more. I'm talking about this connection to God. You know, King David wrote the book of Psalms. The best prayers where he wrote.
Where do you write?
When he wrote them. Where was he when he wrote
The
them?
desert.
In the desert, when he was chased after. When he, Somo lecho nafshi, my soul is thirsty to you. I want to be with you. All the most powerful prayers of King David were written when he was under distress. When he was by himself in the desert of Jordanian desert, next to Yam HaMelech there. He can just imagine a day like this to be there. With no food, with animals running around, with the strongest connection with God. Sometimes our good life, not a good life, but our learning in this is a layer that makes everything more logical. A strong connection to God comes from a connection from above logic. And we don't want to lose it. And you see it by Yiftach very strong. Number 12.
Yiftach sent messengers to the king of Ammon, saying, "What hatred is there between me and you, that you have come to me to fight in my land?"
This is a very interesting approach. He's not going to war. He wants peace. He's asking for peace. He's sending messengers to work out a deal. He says, "Why are you fighting with me? What do you want?" Go ahead.
The king of Amnon said to Yiftach's messengers, because Israel took away my land when they came out of Egypt from Arnon and up to the Yabok and up to the Jordan. Now please restore them peacefully.
He says, "You guys took away from him the land." Did we took away from the land from the Ammonites?
It was the three tribes on the other side, the Jordan state on the
Yeah, but here is going to see Yiftach knows a little history. We think he knows nothing. He knows plenty. He knows the history, how it happened, and he proves a little differently. Also something that we use today in our arguments about the defending the state of Israel. Okay.
Yiftach sent messengers again to the king of Ammon and said to him, "This is what Yiftach says, Israel did not take the land of Moab and the land of Ammon from you. What happened was, when they came up from Egypt and Israel went through the wilderness up to the Red Sea, they came to Kadesh. Israel sent messengers to the king of Edom, saying, 'Let me pass now through your land.' But the king of Edom did not listen. He also sent messengers to the king of Moab, and he was also unwilling. So Israel stayed in Kadesh. Then they went through the desert and went around the land of Edom and the land of Moab. They came to the east of the land of Moab and encamped on the other side of Arnon. But they did not come within the border of Moab, for the Arnon was the border of Moab."
That he says, "We never started a war with you." Right? This true?
Yeah, this is all detailed at the end of the Parsha.
Parshas CHUKAT. Yes.
This
Yes.
is right at the end.
Yes. Let's read it from Parshas CHUKAT, and we'll see how Yiftach who was how many years later? 200 years later? No,
No, much later.
no less.
Really?
Yeah.
Gained to 1200, yeah. probably.
Is 11? No, when was Yiftach?
Actually, you're right.
200
I
years later.
apologize. Yeah, that's about 200 years.
Yeah, something like this. And Parshas CHUKAT, at the end of Parshas CHUKAT, it's in book, 1 second, CHUKAT. On page 997, it's a good number, 997. An attempt to pass through the land of Edom.
Moshe sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom. "This is what your brother Israel said. You know all of the hardship that has befallen us. Our fathers went down to Egypt. We stayed in Egypt for a long time, and the Egyptians mistreated us, and our patriarchs were pained in the grave. We cried out to God, and he heard our voice. He sent an angel, Moshe, and he took us out of Egypt. Now we are in Kadesh, a city on the edge of your border. Please let us pass through your land, so that we can reach the land of Israel. We will not pass through fields or vineyards, even though we have our own supply of water. We will not drink water from our well, but will purchase it from you. We will go along the king's highway, and we will muzzle our animals so that they do not turn to the right or to the left to eat from your fields until we have passed your border."
We will do anything. Just let us pass by on the main road. We will pay you. It's good for your economy. Nothing. Go ahead. Continue.
Edom replied to him, "You will not pass through my territory, or I'll go out towards you with the sword." The children of Israel said to him, "We will keep to the highway. If either we or our cattle drink your water, we will pay whatever it costs. Nothing will harm you. We will pass through on foot." But he said, "You will not pass through." And Edom came out toward them with many men and with the strong hand of Esau.
Continue. Since Edom.
Since Edom refused to allow Israel to cross his border, Israel headed away from him.
Very good. That's one story. Wait. Then we go.
Rabbi Esau, is that Esau?
Yes,
Yeah, it's the same family.
the
Yeah, so
Edomites,
Esau goes to Edom
Descendants.
the Edomites are descended from
from
Esau.
Esau.
Then it's now we'll go to page 1009. The war with Sichon.
Israel sent messengers to Sihon, the king of the Amorites, saying, "Let me pass through your land. We will not turn to any fields or vineyards, nor drink water from the well. We will walk along the king's highway until we have passed through your border."
What is it? Is it the same? It's the same?
Let's
before?
continue. No, it's not the same. That was a different king. Go ahead. But
But
Sichon,
Sihon did not permit Israel to pass through his borders. Sihon gathered all his people and went out to the desert towards Israel. He came to Yatzah and fought against Israel. Israel struck him with the sword and took possession of his land, from Arnon to Yabak, as far as Ammon's descendants, because the border of Ammon's descendants was strong. Israel took all
basically we took the land of Ammon, right? And that was, it goes on in details. That's what the Ammonites are coming now to argue that it belongs to them. We should give it to them back. 200 years later. Doesn't sound the same story like we heard today, the same story? Now we'll go back to page 1457.
So the Gileadites, how do you pronounce it?
Gileadites.
Yeah, they lived among the Ammonites.
Not among the Ammonites, on the land of the Ammonites.
Right, okay, that is on the east bank
Yes.
of the Jordan.
Yes. Must be, no?
And the
Gileadites.
Gileadites were a part of the tribe of Manasseh.
I mean, at this point, probably, yes.
Could be.
Yes. Later
This
it's
is
written
like the
that
half
people,
tribe of
the people of
Manasseh.
Ephraim were angry that they were not included in the war. Yes.
Okay.
Okay, then we are in number 19. David, you want to read?
Thank you. Then Israel sent messengers to Sihon, king of the Amorites, the king of Heshbon. Israel said to him, "Please let us pass through your land up to my place, the land of Canaan, which God has given me." But Sihon did not trust Israel to pass through his border. Sihon gathered all his people, they encamped in Yatzah, and he fought with Israel. And God, the God of Israel, delivered Sihon and all his people into the hand of Israel. They defeated them, and Israel took possession of all the land of the Amorites, the inhabitants of that land. They took possession of the entire border of the Amorites, from the Arnon up to the Yabok, and from the desert up to the Jordan.
Then what is he really saying? You started. You started the war. We won the war. It's our land. What do you say today? The same
Sounds
words.
like 1967.
1967. 1942.
1948.
The Jews were ready to vote for the deal that the UN broke out. They started a war against Israel. We won the war. What are you complaining? What are you saying we should give you back the land? Who started the war? The same argument exactly. It's like you can write the same. You don't even write a new book. Just take it out and read it over. Now God
Now God, the God of Israel, has driven out the Amorites from before his people Israel, and you want to possess it.
Basically, God gave us made miracles, and we want the land. That you want to take it back. We didn't ask for it. You started the war. You wanted peace. We didn't want to conquer your land altogether. It wasn't in the plan. You attacked us. We got the land to bed. Surely
that which Chamosh, your God, gives you to possess, you may possess. And all that which God, our God, has driven out from before us, we will possess.
That's, it says, you believe in your God, that whatever he gives you is yours? That if our God gives us, it's an interesting language in conversation. But it's not surprised from a guy like Haftora, he can speak like this. He speaks the streets language, the street that everybody understands. Okay, number 25.
Now, are you any better than Balak, the son of Zippor, king of Moab? Did he ever strive with Israel, or did he ever fight against them? When Israel lived in Heshbon and its towns, and in Aroer and its towns, and in all the cities that are along Arnon for 300 years, why did you not recover them?
Here we go, we have a mistake, 300 years.
During that time, I have not sinned against you.
One second. Why have you not come this time? Well, you woke up now. For 300 years you didn't claim it's yours. Suddenly you're claiming it's yours. That's what he tells her. Go ahead. I have not
sinned against you, and you are wronging me by fighting against me. May God, the judge, decide this day between the children of Israel and between the children of Ammon.
He tells them, I never went against you. Don't start up with me. I didn't start with you. For 300 years we are sitting here. Who are you to tell us what to do? What are you claiming today? What changed today? That's basically what he says. And as usual, the same reaction. Go ahead.
Right. The king of Ammon did not listen to the words of Haftora, which he had sent him. Haftora had a spirit of bravery from God. He went through Gilgad, and Menashe went through Mitzpah of Gilead, and from Mitzpah of Gilead he went to fight with the people of Ammon in their territory.
He had a spirit of God and he's ready to go to war. Before that, he's doing something else. What is he doing? Go ahead.
Haftora made a vow to God and said, if you will deliver the people of Ammon into my hand, then whatever comes forth, that comes out of the doors of my house towards me, when I return in peace from the people of Ammon, will be for God, and I will offer it up for a burnt offering if it is fit for a sacrifice.
Boy, is that controversial.
Yeah, but it's not in this Haftora.
What do you mean?
What happens to
What happened is not in any Haftora.
Oh, it's in Judges. It's in the book. It's in the
not
book
in
of Judges.
Haftorahs.
Right. I'm sorry.
In the Haftorahs, we read usually
Right.
positive stories.
Right. But it comes in the same. It's the end of
It's a
chapter
continuation
11.
of the same chapter,
Right, in
yes.
Judges. Right.
Now, who else in Jewish history made a vow to God?
Hannah.
Anna. Very good. Who else?
Jacob.
Jacob. Jacob made a vow to God that what? That everything of my best, I'll give you.
If you
Time.
protect me and bring me back.
Right? But first of all, Jacob got in trouble a little bit. What happened? He came back, and he didn't rush to go to the same place, he said, I will come back, I will build an altar for you in this place, right? And he got in trouble with Dinah, and with Joseph, not with Joseph, with Dinah, and Rachel died. Till finally God told him, go already there, go for heaven's sake, just go there. And giving vows, when is a person giving a vow? When he's in a distressed situation. He says, God, if you will do this for me, I promise you I'll do this and this and this and this. What's the part? On one hand, it's an amazing thing. It's a connection, it's a strong connection. It's an awareness of God. On the other hand, when things are getting good, you forget about the vow. That's a problem. So many people are that with myself and with many others. Now, if you think the vow and you don't say it, no. If you said it, you better live up to it. Or say without a vow, bli neder. When you say that's why Jewish people, there is our tradition, I will come tomorrow, bli neder, without a vow. I don't promise. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Why? Because a vow, God is expecting of us very much to live up to our words. Because God created the world with words, and He is expecting from us to keep our words. Lo yachel dvore, we shouldn't violate our words, desecrate our words. Words are very important. He made a vow. Anything that come out from my door, the first thing I'll offer Him as a sacrifice. Who made a similar? Whoever will come the first will be. Who made a sign like this in the Bible? Not a vow, but a sign. The first one will come out will. The first one will come out, and I will ask her, give me water.
Rebecca.
Eliezer.
Eliezer, right.
Eliezer said, the first girl comes out, I'll ask her for water, and she says, give me water. I know, that's the right person. Really? And did Abraham send them to check somebody who is nice, or to bring somebody from the family? Tell me. He wanted somebody from the family, right? When you bring me somebody, and maybe this person who is very nice, and gives them water, she's not from the family. Then what? How are you making such a promise? Lucky Eliezer, God cooperated with them. Who else made such a thing? There's somebody else, I forgot now, but there's another person in the Bible who made, if this will happen to me, and it worked out, but God said there is a few times it worked out, and this is an example where it didn't work out, by Yiftach.
And he kept his vow.
Who?
Yiftach.
That's a problem, you didn't understand.
Or did he? I mean, does
He
it ever
did.
say he actually
It's not-
sacrificed
no,
his
it was
daughter?
his
No, it doesn't say.
Did
It doesn't
it
say.
never says he actually sacrificed her, interestingly.
Kept her quarantine.
It doesn't say.
Doesn't say one way or the other.
We'll get to it. Just give us another second. Number 32.
Yiftach went over to the people of Ammon to fight against them, and God delivered them into his hand. He defeated them from the Arar till you come to the Menis, 20 cities. Go up to the Avel Karamim, a very great defeat. The children of Ammon were then subordinated to the children of Israel.
Then what is happening here? The story, the war alone is written in 2 lines. He delivered a huge victory. Who remembers the victory? Nobody. What do you remember? The story with his father. Then he comes back home, and his only daughter comes out with singing with tambourines to greet him. He said, "Oi, what you did to me? What you did to me? You did to her. You did to me." And she told him, "Okay, father, if that's what needs to be done, I will go and cry my youth, and then you'll do what you need to do." And it's written that he did what he promised to do. It's not written what he did. So the Talmud and the Bible and the Talmud learns that he did it. Later commentaries, the Ibn Ezra, later commentaries from 700 years ago, 500, 600, 700, 600, and this commentaries, more medieval commentaries, they learned that he didn't do it. She was in quarantine, she was dedicated for God, she never got married, she never had children. Now, he promised that he's going to make a vow, and he didn't know that there is such a thing as you can nullify the vow. That happens to a leader, that happens to a general who is not really a leader, who is not really a scholar, who is not really the right person to make such decisions. That he, because he was a general, whatever he says goes. The world should be destroyed, but my rule should be fulfilled. I don't care. We're other people. If he would be asked for advice, he would maybe end up in a different sense. Then the Talmud says that the Medrash puts words in his daughter's mouth. She told them, if Jacob made a promise that he will give tithe, that he planned to give tithe one person out of his 12 sons, When Hannah said she'll dedicate her child to God, she offered them as a sacrifice. Did you want human life? There is a verse in Jeremiah that goes in the words, it's not what I said, not what I commanded, and not what I said, and not even came into my mind. I never had a desire like this. God says this. That the Talmud says, not what I commanded, that the story of Isaac, the son of Abraham. God never commanded to slaughter him. What God said? Put him up on the altar. Put him up on the altar. Actually, the Medrash says, God, when Abraham told God, then what do you want from me? You told me to put him up. God said, I never told you to sacrifice him. I told you to put him up as the altar. It's in the text. Va'alehu le'olah. We say this prayer every day in the morning. Page 125.
The binding of the Akiva?
Yeah, binding the Akiva. Number 2. (125) number 2. Yeah, 125 number 2, it's right here.
He said, please take your son, your only one, whom you love, Yitzchak, and go away to the land of Moriah, Jerusalem, and bring him there for a burnt offering.
Bring him up!
Bring him up there.
Bring him up! That's it, thank you.
Well, but it's just 4
Bring him
o'clock
up! Aleyu le'elo, I never told you to sacrifice them. And then Rashi, the Rashi brings it, I don't know if you have it here in English.
But I like how specific you want to take your son.
Yeah, God is always specific.
Your only son.
Who you love.
You're only
Who you
one.
love.
You're
Who you
only
love.
one.
Yeah, because he would ask, maybe it means Ishmael, maybe it means this.
I'm going to take this man.
Rashi says there that from the Medrash that Abraham asked God, what do you want from me? I did what you said. I said, I never told you to sacrifice him. You put him on the altar, take him down, then you shikoyach. The second one, Asher lo dibarti, what I never said, is Misha Melech Moav. You should know better about Misha Melech Moav. The king of Moab, Misha. He offered his son as a sacrifice, his oldest son, and he actually did it. God says, I never said it. That was against God. Veloy also alibi, never came even on my mind, is the daughter of Yiftach. God never wanted human sacrifices. Actually, some modern commentators point out that the whole idea of the story of Abraham and Isaac, the whole binding story is to set the stage that in Judaism is unacceptable.
Right.
To stop it. And it's actually, even it's a modern commentary, but I think it's a very true statement. God wanted to make an end to it when he started it, the first Jew. He wanted to say that's the beginning of everything. Not sacrificing human beings for anything. Then the Talmud says, who was the rabbi in the time of Yiftach? Somebody who must live very long, and it's a little, the numbers don't clap exactly, but Pinchas ben Elazar ben Aaron HaKohanim. Where will you remember Pinchas from? The zealot, right?
Yeah.
He was killing the
Zimri and
From the
Zimri.
tribe of Shimon.
Huh?
The tribe of Shimon.
Tribe of Shimon. Yeah, he killed the Zimri ben Solo, and yeah, very nice. Then he went to the land of Israel. The Talmud says, Yiftach knew that he can go to a rabbi to nullify the vow. There is such a thing as nullifying the vow. There's a famous story about Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was, when he was a young man, Rachel, the daughter of Kava Savua, the richest man of Jerusalem, wanted to marry this ignoramus. His name is Akiva. 4-year-old man, an old man, a poor man, an ignoramus, all the bad things. Rachel, this young, beautiful, rich daughter of the richest man of Jerusalem, fell in love with him. Your father tells him, you marry him, you're out of my house, thrown out of the house. He made a promise. He'll never benefit from it. He doesn't want to talk to her. Right? Years passed. The father feels bad, missing his daughter. Many years passed. One day, a big rabbi shows up in town. Rabbi Akiva. Somebody knocks on him. The richest man of Jerusalem wants to see him. He comes in, says, Rabbi, I made a promise many years ago not to have anything to do with my daughter. I want to nullify the vow. I feel I miss him. I need a way. I need a rabbi to find a way. What means nullifying the vow? You say, the rabbi asks you, if you would know then what you know now, would you make the vow? And if you say no, that means the vow could be nullified. There is a few methods, but that's one of the methods.
Nullify our vows every Yom Kippur.
Oh. Then he told Rabbi Akiva tells him, if your son-in-law would be as great as me, would you also make the vow? I says, Rabbi, half of you would be good enough. He didn't know nothing. He looks at him, he says, I am your son-in-law. And he nullified his vow. And he gave him all his estate to Rabbi Akiva. That's how Rabbi Akiva became rich. A few years too late, but he became rich. But then the concept of nullifying the vow, we have it on Yom Kippur. This 10 Yom Kippur, we take out 3 Torahs, we make a Beit Din, and we nullify the vows. It's in Judaism, it's a very common behavior. Why Haftora did nullify his vow? Then the Talmud says, Haftora said, I should go to the rabbi to nullify the vow, let them come to me. And what's his name? Pinchas was the leader, said, I will go to Haftora. There's nobody. He should come to me, I'm the rabbi, right? Between Talmud and the Medrash says, between 2 egos, a Jewish soul was lost. And what's the lesson? People make mistakes. That's normal. I mean, people make promises, Hannah, Jacob. In general, you don't make promises. People make mistakes. But the greatness is to fix. The greatness of the human being is when he knows how to fix the mistakes. To apologize, to fix it, to forgive us in Anizano, and to make good of his promise, make it work. And the problem is always, most of the fights in families and communities, it's all because of, I'm not going to give in, you're not going to give in, and the world is coming to an end, and the war starts. And that was the problem with Haftora. Haftora was not really, he was a man with a strong connection to God, not educated enough to know how to work this out. You need to have the knowledge. It's not enough that you are a man with connection to God, a strong man. You need to have a little knowledge wouldn't hurt anybody.
Why would he make the promise of whatever comes out of his door is what he will sacrifice, rather than saying, I will sacrifice my best animal or something of that nature?
A person who is in stress, people who are in this type of people usually do not have rich words. I mean, even that he was proven in this argument with Ammon, he was pretty articulate.
He was on a high.
Very careless.
He
He was on a high. That's, generals, they speak in short, they make the orders and they move on. Like we know somebody very much.
So he was tweeting here,
He
is
was
what you're
tweeting,
saying.
yeah.
Okay.
How could Pinchas be that? Pinchas was in Moses' days, no?
Yes, but he was a very young child. He was 13 years old in Moses' days. That's what they say. Koyach.
That's the way Native Americans used to